On a night of partying that promised to be unforgettable, Elena did something that would change everything. Surrounded by loud music and under the influence of alcohol, she slept with Max's friends, completely disregarding her boyfriend, the cuckold. The consequences were devastating. Days later, Max received an anonymous email containing videos capturing every compromising moment. This led Max to take an action that will shock you. Did he get revenge? Watch until the end to find out what happened to Elena and Max's friends. Max is a young man known for his tranquility and emotional maturity. His serene and committed demeanor makes him a devoted partner, someone whose world revolves around his relationship with Elena. For Max, trust and commitment are the cornerstones of any loving bond. He's the kind of person who believes in the power of unconditional love and is always willing to support Elena in her adventures, even if it means stepping outside his comfort zone. His dedication knows no bounds, and he sees in Elena not just a partner, but his emotional anchor and daily inspiration. Elena, on the other hand, is a force of nature. Extroverted and restless, she lives in pursuit of adventure and intense emotions. Her vibrant personality and insatiable desire for novelty contrast sharply with Max's stability and predictability. Elena craves experiences that make her feel alive, constantly pushing the boundaries of what life has to offer. This relentless pursuit of excitement and novelty often puts her in situations that challenge the norms and expectations of her relationship with Max, creating a delicate balance between her exploratory nature and the love she shares with him. In the vibrant and dynamic setting of college, Max and Elena stand out as a couple admired by many. Their relationship is seen as a perfect example of how opposites can not only coexist but thrive together. This apparent contrast between their personalities, Max's serenity and Elena's untamed energy, is what attracts the attention and admiration of their peers. To those around them, Max and Elena represent the idea that differences can be the foundation for a strong and balanced relationship. While Max offers stability and unconditional support, Elena brings excitement and novelty, creating a dynamic where each complements the other's shortcomings. This unique combination creates a harmony that many see as ideal, fueling the perception that they have something special, a kind of love that transcends differences. Max, with his devoted nature, adores Elena unconditionally. He often puts her needs and desires above his own, demonstrating a tireless willingness to support her in her adventures and endeavors, no matter how daring they may be. For Max, love means being present and being a reliable partner, someone Elena can always count on, no matter how far her curiosities may lead her. Want to know how Max dealt with Elena's betrayal and what he did that will surprise you? Don't miss a single detail of this intriguing story full of twists and turns. Subscribe to our channel now to follow this and other exciting stories. Anticipation for the big college party hangs in the air like an invisible electric current, charging every conversation and thought with palpable excitement. For many, it's just another social gathering, but for Elena, this event is a chance to shine, to be the center of attention in a way she deeply craves. Preparations for the party are in full swing, and Elena feels a growing excitement that compels her to fully embrace the festive spirit. Felix, her close friend and confidant, notices this vibrant energy and encourages her to surrender to the moment. With an encouraging smile, he reminds her that this is her night to shine, a night to make her mark. With her naturally extroverted personality, Elena chooses a stunning red dress, a symbol of her desire to stand out. The vibrant color isn't just a fashion choice, it's a statement of intent. She wants all eyes to be on her, absorbing every moment with the intensity of someone who lives life to the fullest. The dress, with its elegant cut and fabric that flows with every move, transforms Elena into a magnetic figure, impossible to ignore. As Elena gets ready for the night, Max watches her with a look of admiration and affection. For him, every detail is a celebration of the woman he loves. From the choice of dress to the lively sparkle in her eyes, everything is a reaffirmation of the beauty and vibrancy he sees in Elena every day. He feels privileged to be by her side, witnessing her transformation into a vision of confidence and grace. Max is undoubtedly her biggest fan. He's always ready to support and boost her confidence, even if it means staying in the shadows while she shines. For him, it's not about competing for attention, but about celebrating the essence of Elena, the woman he fell in love with. He cherishes this facet of her, seeing not just a partner, but a force of nature that illuminates everything around her. As the time for the party draws near, Elena and Max get ready to leave. She makes a final adjustment to her dress, while Max offers her a look of approval and a smile that speaks volumes. Together, they walk out hand in hand, ready to face the world, each in their own way. For Elena, the night promises to be an adventure, a chance to explore new connections and experiences. For Max, it's an opportunity to support and celebrate the woman he loves, knowing that her brilliance doesn't overshadow his own, but rather illuminates the path they share. Tonight, the party is more than just an event. It's a stage where love and ambition intertwine, creating memories that will last far beyond the first light of dawn. The party is in full swing, with a vibrant and contagious energy that seems to pulsate through the air like an electric current. Loud music reverberates through the walls, as laughter and animated conversations create the perfect backdrop for celebration. However, this same exuberant atmosphere also serves as a catalyst, bringing hidden tensions to the surface. Amidst the bustle, Elena finds herself captivated by an unexpected and dangerous attraction to Max's friends. The room is filled with familiar faces, but it's in the smiles and glances of Max's friends that she finds something that both intrigues and unsettles her. Initially, these interactions seem harmless, a natural extension of socializing amidst the party. But as the night progresses, each exchange of glances and shared laughter begins to carry a different weight, an unspoken understanding that wasn't there before. It's as if, enveloped by the electric atmosphere of the party, Elena begins to contemplate possibilities that were previously unthinkable. This attraction acts as a spark, igniting a restlessness within her, a curiosity that slowly begins to transgress the boundaries of what's acceptable. She feels a growing tension, a magnetism pulling her in directions she'd never considered before. Beneath her exuberant facade, there's a latent dissatisfaction that Elena has been feeling for some time. The thrill of the party amplifies these feelings, allowing once repressed thoughts to surface. She starts to question what she truly wants from life, and from her relationship with Max, the stability that once comforted her now feels suffocating, and the pursuit of novelty and excitement becomes an urgent need. This inner questioning leads her to consider breaking the boundaries she previously respected in her relationship with Max. She ponders how far she's willing to go to satisfy her relentless quest for novelty and excitement, even if it means jeopardizing the foundation of trust and commitment she and Max have built together. The party, with all its exuberance, transforms into a mirror reflecting her deepest doubts and most secret desires. As the night wears on, the party reaches its peak, transforming the atmosphere into a cauldron of energy and euphoria. The pulsating music, mixed with the colorful lights dancing on the walls, creates an almost dreamlike state, where the lines between reality and fantasy begin to blur. The effects of alcohol flow freely, releasing inhibitions and bringing to the surface the true intentions of those present, hidden beneath a veneer of smiles and laughter. Enveloped by the mix of sounds and sensations, Elena feels transported to a world where anything seems possible. Every beat of the music reverberates in her chest, fueling a desire she had, until now, kept under wraps. She finds herself openly flirting with Max's friends, each laugh and touch becoming bolder as the night progresses. To others, her interactions may seem like part of the carefree revelry of the party, but for Elena, it's the awakening of a risky fantasy she's been quietly nurturing. The magnetism of the environment, combined with the freedom provided by the party, leads her to explore emotional and physical territories that were previously off-limits. She allows herself to be swept away by the moment, each impulsive decision fueling the next in a cycle that feels both exhilarating and inevitable. The adrenaline of transgression courses through her veins, giving her an illusory sense of power and invulnerability. Meanwhile, Max observes from a distance, comforted by the false sense of security that everything is normal. He sees Elena circulating among the guests, socializing as she always does, and feels proud of her ability to connect with others. However, what he doesn't realize is that Elena is deliberately hiding her true intentions. She's playing a game of appearances, manipulating Max's perception so he believes her interactions are innocent and unassuming. The deception is subtle but effective. Elena fools him with calculated smiles and gestures, distracting him from the truth unfolding before his eyes. While he's preoccupied with conversations and laughter, she's orchestrating a daring plan to fulfill her hidden fantasies. Each step she takes down the secret path jeopardizes everything she and Max have built together, threatening to crumble their relationship under the weight of her reckless choices. The party, with its frenetic pace and intoxicating atmosphere, transforms into a stage where repressed desires and impulsive decisions shape Elena and Max's destinies in irreversible ways. The pulsating music and vibrant lights create a curtain of normalcy, behind which events unfold that challenge this facade. As the night progresses, Max's friends, one after another, are lured by Elena into secret encounters in the bathroom. Each of these moments is cloaked in tension and transgression, like a well-rehearsed choreography unfolding far from the prying eyes of the crowd. The bathroom, a small and confined space, becomes a sanctuary for shared secrets and veiled promises, where the forbidden is explored with reckless abandon. For Elena, each encounter is a silent shattering of the bonds of trust that underpin her relationship with Max. It's a deliberate foray into forbidden territory that, until now, existed only in her wildest fantasies. The secrecy not only intensifies the thrill of the moment, but also reinforces her disconnect from the realities and consequences of her actions. With each interaction, she convinces herself that she's simply living in the moment, deliberately ignoring the future impact of her choices. During these encounters, Elena is consumed by an overwhelming sense of power and detachment. Amidst the chaos of the party, she finds a strange kind of clarity, an illusion of control that convinces her that, for a few moments, she can escape the limitations and expectations of her everyday life. It's as if, within the walls of the bathroom, she can be someone completely different, someone who dictates the rules of her own narrative. This illusion of power, however, comes at a steep price. By allowing herself to be consumed by the excitement of the moment, Elena disconnects emotionally and morally from Max. Every choice she makes in those encounters is a step further away from reality, a decision that distances her not only from Max but also from who she truly is. By deliberately ignoring the repercussions her actions might have, she strays from the path she knew, unaware of how devastating this detour could be. With the arrival of dawn, daylight illuminates not only Max's room but also a devastating truth that will forever change the course of his life. The sunrise, which usually brought promises of a new beginning, now casts long, cold shadows over an uncertain future. Still half asleep, Max stretches in bed, expecting the dawn to bring its usual sense of peace and renewal. However, his phone vibrates softly on the nightstand, signaling the arrival of a new email. Unsuspecting, he sits up, rubbing his eyes before reaching for the device. As he opens the message, surprise turns into paralyzing shock. The anonymous email reveals incriminating videos capturing Elena in compromising encounters with his friends during the party. The images are sharp and undeniable, each frame a stab in Max's heart. He watches, incredulous, as the betrayal, until then unimaginable, unfolds before his eyes. The world around him seems to shrink, focusing only on the screen displaying the devastating truth. Initially, Max is unable to process the magnitude of what he's seeing. The shock paralyzes him, as if time has stopped, leaving him trapped in a moment of utter disbelief. However, as reality begins to set in, the shock quickly morphs into overwhelming despair. He feels as if the ground is crumbling beneath his feet, as the trust and love he had for Elena are shattered in a matter of seconds. Every shared memory, every moment of affection, is now tainted by the betrayal he has just uncovered. Disillusionment gives way to palpable anger, a fury that pulses through his veins as he analyzes the irrefutable evidence of infidelity. The emotional pain is intense and immediate, like an open wound that won't stop bleeding, leaving Max struggling to find a way to confront this new reality that threatens to consume everything he knew and valued. In the solitude of his room, Max feels the internal battle begin. He tries to breathe, but the air feels heavy, thick with broken promises and shattered dreams. Anger and sadness intertwine, creating a whirlwind of emotions that leaves him reeling. He gets up and starts pacing, searching for an anchor amidst the internal chaos. He needs to decide how to confront Elena, how to deal with the betrayal that now hangs over them like a dark cloud. He knows the confrontation is inevitable, but he also understands that he needs to approach the situation with clarity and purpose so he can find a way through the pain and confusion. What would you do if you were in Max's shoes? How would you handle such a complicated situation? I'm curious to hear your opinions and thoughts. Leave a comment below. After the devastating revelation of Elena's betrayal, Max is thrown into an emotional storm that threatens to consume him. The apartment, once a haven of love and security, now becomes a reflection of his tumultuous mind, a space filled with shadows and doubts. At first, Max feels like he's adrift in a turbulent sea, each wave of emotion crashing against him mercilessly. The initial shock is a dull blow, leaving him stunned and incredulous. How could Elena, the person he trusted most, betray him so profoundly? This question echoes in his mind, fueling the anger simmering just beneath the surface. Anger is an intense fire, burning with a fury that threatens to engulf everything in its path. However, it's soon replaced by an overwhelming sadness, a sense of loss so profound that it feels as if all the air has been sucked from his lungs. Disappointment and pain intertwine, creating an internal tempest that seems to have no end. Max finds himself navigating this maelstrom of emotions, trying to find some semblance of stability amidst the chaos. In the midst of this emotional storm, Max recognizes the urgent need to find a moment of calm. He knows instinctively that, to confront Elena effectively, he first needs to quiet the inner demons that threaten to cloud his judgment. This search for clarity begins with deep introspection, where he forces himself to confront each emotion, no matter how painful. Max seeks refuge in a quiet corner of the apartment, where the soft light of dawn begins to filter through the window, bringing a sense of temporary peace. He takes deep breaths, focusing on each inhale and exhale, trying to anchor himself in the present. This moment of self-control is crucial. He needs to gather strength, not only for the impending confrontation but also to face the truths that will come to light. As time passes, Max begins to find fragments of clarity amidst the chaos. He realizes that confronting Elena cannot be driven by blind rage, but by a genuine desire to understand what happened and why. He needs to approach the situation with rationality and consideration, seeking answers, not just blame. This mental preparation is a painful but necessary process. Max understands that, although Elena's betrayal has shaken him to his core, he still has the power to decide how to respond. Instead of allowing himself to be consumed by the pain, he chooses to face the situation with courage and determination, ready to deal with the consequences and seek a path towards healing. The inevitable moment of confrontation between Max and Elena finally arrives, marking a decisive turning point in their relationship. What was once built on mutual trust now teeters on the precipice, about to be shattered by painful and inescapable revelations. With the weight of betrayal still fresh and agonizing in his mind, Max realizes that delaying the conversation would only prolong his suffering. The night is quiet, but inside him, a storm of emotions rages, demanding resolution. He rises with determination, the cold floor beneath his feet a stark contrast to the turmoil within as he walks toward the bedroom where Elena still sleeps. Each step is heavy with the gravity of what's to come, yet the need to confront the truth propels him forward. The serenity of the room, illuminated only by the soft moonlight filtering through the gaps in the curtains, clashes sharply with Max's inner turmoil. The tension in the air is almost palpable, as if the very room itself is aware of the impending confrontation. He watches Elena for a moment, her peaceful breathing oblivious to the approaching storm, before gently waking her. Startled awake and confronted, Elena quickly grasps the seriousness of the situation. Still groggy from sleep, she attempts to maintain composure, but the intensity in Max's eyes makes it clear that there's no room for evasion. In a desperate attempt to salvage what's left of their relationship, she dismisses the events as a meaningless mistake, an attempt to minimize the gravity of her actions and soften the blow of betrayal. However, the recordings Max reveals are undeniable, each word and image a stark testament to what transpired. The evidence is irrefutable, stripping away any pretense of innocence Elena still clung to. She finds herself powerless, her justifications evaporating into thin air before they can even take shape. The reality of her actions, now laid bare, leaves her defenseless, facing the raw, unvarnished truth that can no longer be denied. The tension in the room reaches a crescendo, where every spoken word and every prolonged silence carries monumental weight. Max, though devastated, maintains his composure as he confronts Elena with the truth. His eyes reflect a mixture of pain, disappointment, and a flicker of hope that perhaps something can still be salvaged. But the betrayal, like an insidious shadow, casts doubt on any possibility of reconciliation. The confrontation becomes a moment of brutal clarity, where illusions are shattered, and the truth, however painful, reigns supreme. For Max and Elena, this is more than just a turning point. It's a watershed moment that will determine the course of their lives from this point forward. Inside the apartment where so many memories were made, the confrontation between Max and Elena reaches its climax, marking a moment of extreme tension and raw emotions. The atmosphere, thick with expectant silence, seems to hold its breath as the truth begins to unfold inexorably. As the evidence of Elena's infidelity comes to light, each detail becomes a razor-sharp blade, cutting deep into Max's mind. The recordings, cold and impartial, speak of encounters and broken promises, painting a painful picture of betrayal he never imagined facing. Elena's attempt to downplay her actions only intensifies his feelings of humiliation, turning hurt into anger and despair. Within Max, an emotional storm gathers, with clouds of pain and thunderclaps of indignation. He finds himself lost in a whirlwind of thoughts and feelings, his mind replaying scenes he wishes he could erase. Every happy memory with Elena is now distorted by the harsh reality of the present, and the struggle to maintain control over his emotions becomes increasingly difficult. In this inner turmoil, Max reaches his breaking point. The barriers containing his rage crumble, and he's flooded by a wave of emotions he can no longer contain. In an instant, the line between reason and impulse blurs, and he succumbs to an act of violence that reverberates throughout the apartment. The outburst is swift and devastating, transforming into an irreparable tragedy that alters the course of their lives forever. The act of violence isn't merely an expression of Max's despair, it's also a reflection of the depths of emotional devastation he's experiencing. The room, once a sanctuary of love and companionship, is now the scene of despair and loss. The silence that follows is deafening, filled only by the distant sound of a life fading away and the crushing realization of what has been done. On the fateful night when tragedy erupts in Max and Elena's apartment, the world seems to stop for a moment, only to explode into a maelstrom of chaos and unavoidable consequences. The usual nighttime quiet is brutally interrupted by the sound of violence, shattering the tranquility of the neighboring apartments. Screams and the crashing of objects echo through the hallways, jolting neighbors from their sleep. In a mix of confusion and fear, they quickly grasp the gravity of the situation. Without hesitation, one of them reaches for the phone with trembling hands and calls the authorities, while others cautiously approach the door, trying to make sense of what's happening. Soon, the sirens of police cars and ambulances pierce the night air, their red and blue lights dancing on the building walls. The atmosphere, once quiet and safe, transforms into a scene of emergency. News of the incident spreads rapidly among the residents, each trying to piece together the puzzle as they huddle at their windows and doorways, watching the scene unfold before their eyes. The authorities' swift response is meticulous and efficient. Police officers arrive on the scene, closely followed by paramedics, all trained to handle the urgency and gravity of the situation. Max and Elena's apartment is quickly cordoned off, becoming the epicenter of a detailed investigation. Amidst camera flashes and hushed whispers, officers begin collecting evidence, while paramedics assess the situation and provide any necessary medical assistance. Amidst the organized chaos, Max stands motionless, his mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. He makes no attempt to flee. There's a silent acceptance in his posture, a bitter understanding of the irreversibility of his actions. When confronted by the authorities, he doesn't hesitate to confess what he's done, his words heavy with shock and remorse. The sincerity of his confession, though painful, is undeniable, and his immediate arrest follows as an unavoidable formality. As he's handcuffed and escorted out of the building, the gazes of neighbors and onlookers follow him, each carrying their own silent judgment. This is the beginning of a dark and unknown chapter in his life, where the consequences of his impulsive act begin to weigh on him with crushing intensity. If this impactful story full of twists and turns has captivated your attention, be sure to show your support by clicking the like button. Each like helps us continue bringing compelling narratives like this to you. The incident that shook Max, Elena, and their family spreads like ripples in a still pond, each wave touching lives in unexpected and painful ways. Violence not only destroys individual lives but reverberates throughout the community, leaving an indelible mark on everyone involved. Max's friends, who were present at the events leading up to the tragedy, find themselves caught in a storm of social and academic scrutiny. Once vibrant young individuals with dreams and aspirations stretching across distant horizons, their lives are now overshadowed by the disgrace and guilt associated with the incident. The university, once a haven of learning and camaraderie, transforms into a setting of judgment and isolation. Some are forced to withdraw from their courses, confronted by immeasurable social pressure and a desire to escape the shame that follows them through the hallways and classrooms. Others choose to leave voluntarily, seeking a fresh start far from the memories and condemning glances. Casual encounters become strained, old friendships fray, and the educational environment, meant to nurture, becomes a minefield of gossip and exclusion. Max and Elena's families are thrust into the spotlight of overwhelming negative publicity, their private lives now exposed for the world to see. The pain of losing a loved one so publicly is intensified by the constant invasion of privacy and the relentless judgment of society. Reporters camp outside their homes, seeking any scrap of information or reaction they can capture. For Max's family, there's the added pain of seeing their beloved son involved in an act of violence, struggling to reconcile the image of the young man they raised with the actions he committed. They are forced to question everything, from their parenting to the values they believe they instilled. Elena's family, on the other hand, faces the devastating grief of irreparable loss while also dealing with the public exposure of a betrayal they would have preferred to keep private. Public judgment offers no space to process their grief privately, forcing them to rebuild their lives amidst the chaos and unwanted attention. In the wake of the tragedy that shook the community, a new wave of discussions begins, this time extending beyond the physical boundaries of the neighborhood or city. The echoes of the incident reach the public sphere, where intense and passionate debates take shape on television programs, social media, and online forums. The incident quickly becomes a lens through which society re-examines issues of morality and possessiveness in relationships. Television programs host panels with psychologists, sociologists, and ethicists, each offering their perspective on the delicate balance between love and control. These discussions, broadcast into thousands of homes, question the extent to which possessiveness can masquerade as affection and how obsession can often be mistaken for passion. On social media, hashtags related to the incident begin trending as users share their own experiences and opinions. Personal stories of possessive love and its repercussions are told and retold, creating a network of narratives that highlight the universality of the theme. Max and Elena's tragedy becomes a catalyst for broader insights into how the lines between affection and obsession are dangerously thin, easily leading to extreme and irreparable consequences. Beyond the debate on possessiveness, the incident also sparks deeper reflection on toxicity and betrayal in interpersonal relationships. Online forums buzz with discussions about how humiliation and emotional pain can drive extreme reactions, and what can be done to prevent such situations from escalating into violence. Mental health experts seize the opportunity to emphasize the importance of recognizing the early signs of toxic relationships. Articles and posts highlight stories of resilience, where emotional support and open communication help resolve tensions before they turn destructive. This event serves as a wake-up call for society about the importance of fostering healthy dialogues about emotions, expectations, and boundaries in relationships. As days pass and normalcy gradually returns, the community finds itself enveloped in a new reality, where the scars of the recent tragedy are still visible and palpable. The settling dust reveals not only the wreckage of once intertwined lives, but also an emotional landscape that calls for introspection and understanding. A cautionary tale, the stories of Max, Elena, and their friends resonate like a persistent echo, a cautionary tale that travels through the streets, classrooms, and homes of the community. Each detail of the narrative serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of emotional betrayal. Max, once seen as a promising and balanced young man, now symbolizes the fragility of the human condition in the face of uncontrollable emotions. Elena's betrayal, in turn, highlights how momentary desires can trigger a chain of events that destroy not only trust but also the very essence of relationships. The friends, who once shared laughter and confidences, now carry the weight of disgrace and regret, their lives irrevocably altered by thoughtless decisions. And the families, shattered by loss and shame, face the challenge of rebuilding their lives under the watchful and critical eye of society. This is a poignant reminder of how impulsive actions can have repercussions that extend far beyond the moment, affecting not only the individuals involved but also everyone around them. Lessons in emotional responsibility. The tragic events underscore the critical importance of emotional responsibility and clear communication in relationships. They serve as a beacon, warning of the dangers of ignoring emotional issues that, when left unaddressed, can fester into destructive forces. Society is reminded that relationships must be nurtured with trust, respect, and mutual understanding, and that seeking help when faced with overwhelming emotional challenges is crucial. The lessons learned from this tragedy are profound and varied, offering an opportunity for reflection and growth. They encourage a more conscious and careful approach to interpersonal relationships, emphasizing the need for empathy, support, and early intervention to prevent emotional tensions from escalating into personal and community tragedies. The story of Max and Elena becomes a modern-day fable, a call to action to foster a culture of emotional health and resilience in human relationships.